Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde and Shooter Hunt here with the latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs. Shooter, tournaments are happening every weekend throughout the fall, so we're going to look at the most recent weekend where we had action all over the country.
Yeah, it really was coast to coast, if not California, Virginia, Florida, New Jersey, New York, Midwest, everywhere. It was just nonstop action coast to coast.
Yeah, it certainly was. So let's take a look at some highlights today. We'll have some quick hits for you, but we'll also have more in-depth reports on standouts in the hot list this week. But starting us off at Creekside, we had a couple of shortstops who were co-MVPs of the tournament out there in Brock Daniels and Noah Miller, who are undoubtedly big-time draft prospects. Brock Daniels with a couple of no-doubt bombs, Noah Miller doing his thing, being an athletic, switch-hitting shortstop.
Yeah, Daniels, an Oklahoma recruit, he just continues to hit. It's one of those, we use this line a lot, but it's real hitterish. Every time he steps on the plate, has that uphill plane. I think he's going to have a chance to hit for some more power. And then Miller, it seems like every week they're talking about him at Creekside going off. Alabama recruit, we talked about him being a potential draft helium guy, moving into that day one, if not going to campus and being a first-round pick. But the underclassman I took away from this was Caden Markham. Saw him down at area code, super twitchy, about 6'5", only about 150 pounds right now, but it's freakish athleticism. He was 90 and 92 on the bump with feel for 4 pitches. There's a lot to like from Markham. We're going to be talking about him next year a ton.
Excellent. Moving over to the state of Virginia, we have 2023 left-hander Andrew Callaway, who was a standout on the mound.
Yeah, Callaway was at the Future Games. I love his toughness on the mound. I think he's going to have a chance for 3 pitches, but attacks the zone. He's into the mid-80s, real clean, but his upside's going to come. But I'm going to leave you for this next name before I talk about him because it's a tough one.
Yeah, you got a few of those guys today, but this one's a 2022 right-hander in Ryan Gerziak. Sorry if I messed that up.
There's going to be a bunch of coaches locking in on Gerziak right now because he was 89 to 91 at 6'5", 172 pounds, but he also throws a banger with a big 76, 78 breaking ball. I'm sure there's a lot of D1 coaches that continue to monitor when they can get out again so you can see Gerziak.
Take note. In our notes here, Shooter wrote hammer. He does not throw that term around loosely. So, but up to your home state in New Jersey, we got a guy coming out of Pennsylvania that stood out for your brother TJ and Aiden Weaver.
Yeah, a lot of action up in Jersey. Nice little tournament. But Aiden Weaver, Duke recruit. We saw him at Lake Point earlier this summer. It's super clean, jumps out, real short arm stroke with a nice changeup. But there were a bunch of arms that were really good. Ryan DiMaggio, South Jersey kid, committed to Boston College. Real pitchability from the left side, up to 87. I think he's got a lot more in the tank. This Jersey 22 class has a chance to have a bunch of really good arms, though. Jackson Kramer, a Wake Forest recruit, big physical frame. He can really spin it. He was up into the upper 80s on the bump as well. I think there's much more for him. Then you got Toby Smith, who is a 23 right-handed pitcher, was in the low 80s, but just comes out so free and easy, just jumps out of the hand. I'm sure those metrics are real high and real friendly to what he's got. Luke Racasano, playing with the Niners. He's another one, 81 to 84, but the ball jumps out of the hand. I think this fall, looking towards the spring, I think you'll see a velocity jump from him. And then without going too much into detail, because I'm sure when we get those 24 rankings at the end of the fall, Andre Modugno will be a guy we're talking about, already a Duke recruit, super physical, getting the barrel on the ball here.
Excellent. A couple tough names there to wrap it up for New Jersey, but that DiMaggio one's pretty easy. But out of Wisconsin, we got another 2023 that stood out for our guys that were at the Rock this past weekend in Trey Swiderski.
Yeah, only talking about one guy real quick from the Rock because there are a lot of talented players, but Swiderski, a Louisville recruit, hitting some tanks, and he was letting them know about it there.
He certainly was. Then out of the state of Ohio, a bunch of action coming out of there. We got Blake Bowen, a Kentucky recruit. Ryan, I'm going to say Peach. Sorry if I got that wrong. A 2023 Futures Game arm. And then Henry Kazmar, who's committed to Michigan.
Yeah, Bowen, super projectable, long 6'3" frame, some long levers there, but he got on some baseballs. I saw him in Indianapolis a couple weeks ago. Good-looking athlete. He was at the Future Games before committing to Kentucky. Peach, another clean arm, big-time basketball player. He's at Walsh Jesuit, who's got a lot of good young players.
Always do.
They're going to be a good one to follow the next few years. And then Kazmar, Michigan recruit, just does everything right. I watched him in Indianapolis a couple of weeks, can steal bags, kind of what Michigan's building into a prototypical Michigan kid. real tough, blue collar, gets on the field, knows what he's doing, high baseball IQ, and he can hit. So he's a really nice player. Some good action there in Ohio.
Moving out to the West Coast now, California and Arizona. Haven't seen a lot of action there this summer, obviously because of COVID-19, but it looks like they're really starting to get back out to the field. And it's always a good day on the West Coast when you can see a guy like Marcelo Mayer.
Yeah, and we've been talking about Mayer for the last year as a potential #1 player in this class. With limited action this summer, it's tough to see him. He got out there when he did. He looked great. But I know Les Lukacs, our scouting director there, was itching to get out. He goes out those games. We're texting all night. He's locked in. Mayer gets a bunch of hits, including a triple that went 100+ off the bat against a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. He just really slows the game down. I think he's going to have a chance to be a real first-round pick. And then Thatcher Hurd, another UCLA, or Thatcher Hurd's a UCLA recruit. Mayer's a USC recruit. But Hurd recently to UCLA, really clean. I think they're going to sweat it out because we love them at area codes.
Yep.
He continues to make those steps forward.
He certainly does. Definitely a good-looking arm there, and a great pickup for the Bruins. But in Arizona, or out of Arizona, we also have Derek Schaefer standing out, Carson McIntyre, and even a 24 in Houston Wheeler.
Yeah, Schaefer at the top. I got to give it to our guy Brett Thorney down there in Arizona, the scouting director. He went to bat for Schaefer. When we were going through the 23 rankings, we both looked at what Schaefer had brought to the table. We're like, hey, this kid's going to be really good. And the velocity hadn't jumped yet before we put out those rankings, but it was so clean. He's 6'2" and athletic. Then he goes this weekend for Brett Thorney. He's up to 89, and he's got feel for a breaking ball. It's 3 pitches, starter profile. I think he's going to add significant strength. He's a real good one. And then Carson McIntyre continues to lay that heavy barrel and really turn the barrel at the plate. Recently committed to Oregon State, made that jump into the 23 rankings, and he's only getting better. And then Houston Wheeler leaving us with some 24s in a talented Arizona 24 class that's already being shown. But look out for those 23s in Arizona. Very good.
Yeah, sounds like a great class. So there you have it, a look at a bunch of action from PBR tournaments across the country. Be sure to check out PrepBaseballReport.com for plenty more coverage of those events as well as the ones to come. But as always, for Shooter Hunt, I'm Nathan Rohde. This was Coffee and Curveballs, and until next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.